back here a second time. I had to move my stuff into the bedroom in a weird spot because T's running around. But I wanted to come on for about an hour. I know probably not a lot of people are expecting me to come back on since we did a 3 hour live this morning. Yes, you heard that right, a 3 hour live. I think it might have been the longest live I've ever done on YouTube. I'm not sure any others that have gone over 3 hours, or maybe there's been a couple, but not very many. Um, So I know you've seen in the title, I know you've seen in the image about I put XRP holders frustrated. Once again, XRP fails to break out. Is the journey over? And that doesn't mean the long-term journey. That just means the journey we're on in this particular venture. Does that mean that we've failed? No, actually. That's the funny thing. It hasn't failed yet. We've kind of had a holding pattern today. It hasn't broken down, didn't break out, had a couple chances to break down, and it pulled back with a double bottom style bottom here earlier today. We had one as well as overnight hours around midnight on that candle closure, and then we retested it this morning. And then while we were live, it came back down pretty close, came down just under $1.37. But it's not over yet. We're still in the same kind of pattern. It's just, in my opinion, we're in more of a holding pattern right now. And what does that mean? Well, we still don't want to make a new low here. We still would like the bulls to take over. The 4 hourly has back tested the support line now after it broke over it. So there's still some optimism here, but rightfully so. The XRP holders, XRP traders, the ones who are fans of XRP are rightfully frustrated right now, and they have every right to be. We've been stuck like this for quite some time. We've been in a bear market for the last 9 to 10 months, but it's not just that. It's the expectation that a lot of people have. So the expectation is what causes the frustration in most cases. Whether or not XRP's underperforming, performing with the market, whether or not you believe it's failed this attempt, which I wouldn't go there yet. It hasn't. We haven't got to that point yet where we could even say it has. But if it does fail this and we fail to break out, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people here. Because even though it's not a full pattern flip, just to see that relief rally up to $1.5255 on the 200-day, like it's showing with the breakout of the descending wedge and the back test of it and things like that, that's obviously a frustrating point for some. We can get rid of that support and just show the resistance over the top that it needs to break over. But I think a lot more of the anxiety comes with XRP, with the ones that are having unrealistic expectations. Now, I understand today, when you see across the market how algo's up about 3%, a couple other things are up. Algo's doing pretty good today in comparison to the rest. But really, the only red besides Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's pretty flat, is XRP. You know, you've had other assets that, even though they're not moving a lot, like Algo's up 3%. You've got VeChain up about 1.4%. Attrition that it shows a lot when it runs on its own. Or two, it's just it doesn't have enough steam, and it's just this rally's over before it even starts, basically. What do I want to believe? I'd like to believe we can make another push up and get over this, because it is set up in just a nice way that if it broke out, we would have a nice little rally here. So I would love to see it just to give some relief. There's so many people that are so freaking frustrated, and we've had a nice inverse pattern, back testing on the back test of the descending wedge breakout. We've got an E-wave set up phenomenally if it would just break up. 4 hourly's oversold like we've talked about, and it's on the trend line. It's come through it on here. On the futures, it's more parallel to it, but right now it's been underwhelming, but it hasn't broken down. XRP has not broken down yet, so let's not jump the shark. Let's not overanalyze this before we have to. We'll do an intro, and we'll get into all of this and what can happen if this in fact does not play to the upside. Clearly, I voiced the frustration with crypto in the first live over the 3 hours, but did it in a way where we were direct. We were able to have a phenomenal conversation, and the reason I came back is because I had such a good time for 3 hours talking to all of you that I couldn't get enough. It's certainly not because of what XRP's doing I came back. In fact, it might hinder the viewership because of what XRP's doing. But I tried to encapsulate the the picture to represent. Even in the morning live, I tried to make better pictures to represent more about what we're talking about, because the pattern is set up for a move to $1.70 if it could just grab it by the balls. And we'll talk about that as we get going. Good evening. 6:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, March 12th, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Because I have no idea how many people are here, we're going to start out like this. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's getting a little dark and gloomy, when it feels like there's no other way but down, when everybody's feeling that frustration growing, especially the holders of XRP are becoming very, very, very disappointed, we're going to do something we did 5 years ago for the first time, as my 5-year anniversary comes up in 12 days from now. Believe it or not, I must have gone insane. I haven't taken a day off in all 5 years. Been here every single day, which is a badge of honor, I say. But ladies and gentlemen, our good friend that I started doing this at 275 subscribers approximately, and now we're closing in on 50,000. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the sunny days are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see a motherfucking thing. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not get caught in the FUD. Oh, we're gonna crash, and we did, and we will, and we won't, and we can, and we will, and we won't, but we didn't, and we did, but we can't break out, but I swear we can, and we won't, and we can, and we can, and we will, and we will, oh yeah. Stay true, stay blessed. Bitcoin's the biggest Ponzi of them all. I swear the sun isn't making fun of us. And that's a cigarette, he's not jerking off, I promise. I guess this is a family-friendly show, of course. Of course. And obviously, if he was, well, let's not get into it a little bit deeper. But yeah, I have no idea how many people are watching, so I don't care if you left. If you stayed, I greatly appreciate it. And to be honest with you, we had a nice conversation earlier, and it really is about the core members and trying to adapt a few members each and every day to become core members. It was such a great, I can't even describe how awesome the live was earlier. The conversation and the comments, the helpfulness, our equal bashing of crypto was awesome. So we can take this as a positive. If we're pissed off at XRP, if we feel like it's underperforming, we're going to take it out on it together. Is the anxiety growing with the XRP holders? Is what I said the understatement of the century by XRP holders being frustrated at another failed breakout attempt? But don't jump the shark. Don't hammer it into the ground before it's giving it up. XRP still well above the $1.36. And it's still very well possible that we can still have this expansionary wave. XRP likes to take the painful route all the time. So let's ease our minds a little bit, and let's try to see what's going to happen and represent this possibly, in the proper context. So, I'm very excited about this live. I don't expect there to be a ton of people in here because it's hard to push me through the algorithm these days. And I just sang sunny days, so if anybody was here, I bet you about 30% of the people. But hey, that's more for the core members. I'm going to share it myself with the public. And I'm going to share one for the members only who are subscribed, because then maybe they'll also see that the live is on. And then maybe at some point I'll see how many people are in here and talk to the people in the comments. We can't expect anybody who comes into our house for the first time to have good energy. So we're going to feed the positivity. XRP in the hourly is trying to say, don't count me out just yet. I got 21 minutes to, if I must say so myself. I probably should have seen if this is working right. I probably should have. Okay, it sounds fine. In the 2 hourly, we're in a good spot. If it wants to reverse, little V shape, but it came all the way back through. If we come into the 3 hourly, pretty shaky. Hasn't broken down, still in the liquidity box. Nothing to see. Nothing to see here, folks. In the 4-hourly and the daily, excuse me, let's see the 4-hourly still got a lot of room that it could run with. If we get some positivity. Still have that inverse setup. I still think the best way to look at this is to just pay attention to this chart until it absolutely breaks down. The problem is, though, a lot of people ask me if it can come to $1.26. The problem is if it comes to $1.26, it invalidates the structure and the inverse setup here on the breakout. So it'd be less likely to break out if it comes all the way down there, in my opinion. But obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. And my opinion isn't final. It's just I believe if we're going to break out, we need to do it before we break down to there. But hey, I've been wrong before, and I sure as hell will be wrong again. You know, the first step of success is to admit we're wrong at times. And we are wrong at times. It happens. It happens to the best of us. So, but if you want to have a little bit of positivity, if you go into the all-time chart, even a big drop is expected. At some point, a better than 50 to 60% drop could be expected, depending on if we go up from here. Not only being validated and delayed, if we can get over $1.56 and ultimately get up over that $1.70 to 77 cents, that CME FVG gap, you get on top of that, then we can make a run at 23. That's how you'd break out of that resistance on the descending triangle. But as of right now, we're painfully below. We've gone up several times and failed to hold it. Once we came right up to it, got rejected. The other time we went over it to about $1.65 and came right back down. So I consider this a holding pattern there until it breaks down. Now, this part is the descending wedge. This is the descending wedge, but it's on an all-time cup and handle, which most of you know that's the Hank Hill ass syndrome, flat ass. So we call it the Hank Hill ass syndrome. It's a good signal. We want that. We want the flat Hank Hill ass. If it offends you, I'm sorry about that, but, you know, sometimes you got to open up the value of the content by, you know, making people smile. Sometimes you gotta take the humility and you gotta make yourself look like a jackass in a good way, like we are, so that the people feel better. We want to have a better, positive feeling. I want this audience to go from we can't win to we can't lose. So what? The micro looks like hell. We got the Hank Hill ass syndrome. That means that we have a possibility at some point, as long as Hank Hill's ass holds up, and he doesn't have much cheeks. So, you know, it is what it is. But we want this pattern to play out. And then the beauty of this is we came into the cup and handle now, into the handle, and we formed a descending wedge. We're just missing a third tap. Now, is it impossible to break out without coming back down a third time? Not necessarily. In the weekly, in fact, is so oversold that it gives me a lot of hope. I still have hope. My hope hasn't dwindled. It's just, you know, in this part of the cycle, is it possible for us to move out of here? Well, the reason why that 86 cent is lined up for like around the beginning of April, if it happens, or mid-April, if it comes down to that 55, 56 cents, it would push us out near August. But the reason why we're looking at this right now in that 86 cent, we tried to line it up, it's pretty simple to me. And this is another setup that we have that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense, actually, if you want to be honest. But that's not what we're talking about right now. Well, I guess we could go back to that chart. Man, I really like that FVG area too. I would really like to see it take out that gap area. There's so much liquidity. It's like Bitcoin's trying to build up to that 82K possibly. There's a lot of liquidity up there. A lot. Did I mention there's a lot of liquidity up there? Just making sure. Again, I can't see the comments. I didn't turn them on yet. I mean, they're on, but I'm not looking. I got to get through this in my own peace of mind, and then we'll get to the comments. I highly recommend you to consider taking the classes as we finished our 6th week yesterday. I'm talking if you want to learn structure, not just how to open a chart. By the time you open the chart, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. And then at some point, we're going to get into the charts and we're going to get into the technicals. I'm going to teach you everything in between to build you into the proper trader, the proper asset manager, the proper financial advisor. You're not going to have to ask anybody a damn thing when you get done with this course. However, the course is going to go on for a long time, and we're only 12 classes in 6 weeks. So I'd encourage you, there's a link in the video description below and our pinned comments to this very comment section that I can't see right now. It's up at the top. But anyhow, that descending triangle we talked about, And remember, a descending triangle is identifiable by flat support. It can be slightly declined, but it's basically flat support. So the lows are flat. You have downtrending resistance, which makes lower highs. And that creates a descending triangle, which typically when you're coming at it from the down direction like this, it's very bearish. Oh, super bearish. And it broke down. No doubt about it. It broke down. And now the technical target would be around 86.8 cents approximately. Can be a little bit different, but that's where we marked it at. It did hit it one more time in the middle. And it created that head and shoulders. But now it's elongated. So we'll see if this elongation continues. The daily went into overbought. So a lot of times the 4 hourly will come up and test where the daily's at. But, you know, we don't know yet if that's going to happen. But right now it's trying to test this area. And remember, an ascending triangle, not be confused by a descending triangle, would be a flat resistance and higher lows simultaneously. Am I going to say this looks great right now? Oh, no, just like we talked earlier, this is rotating in a way that it's still okay right now. But if we want that upward volatility, it's going to have to come soon. We don't want to keep dropping like back down to $1.26. I mean, personally, I'd like it to just fall off the freaking map and go down to as low as 56 cents. I'm going to feast if it goes down there. I've been taking money off of crypto and putting it into a separate account. And if the time is right, if the time comes, you better believe I'm going to be uploading that. And maybe that would turn in to an additional 20,000 XRP tokens, depending on where it's at. So, over what I was thinking. So I have a plan, a very big plan. It's not basic. In fact, it's something very involved. And if you guys watch every day, you're going to be able to be right involved with me. If you're in the class, there will be no secrets when I buy something, especially not in the swing trading, but in the long-term bag. You're going to know because we're going to do it together. That's one guarantee I can give you in the classes. Once it's buying time, if you're in the classes, we're going to buy it together. Or I'm at least going to express it to you because I may not be able to be an asset manager, but technically I can be your financial advisor in a sense, at least not at 100%. But because you're paying me for the education, technically I can stretch it out a little bit and give you a little more financial advice because that's what you're paying me for. It's different than just being a member of Tom's Army. We're doing this on Zoom. It has no affiliation technically with my YouTube. It's actually Professor Speaka teaching, not X. I don't even know who XRP Future Millionaire is when the class starts. So we're not even the same person. I might be AI Tom right now. That's why I'm in a good mood. People are like, why the hell is he in a good mood? He must be AI. I get it. But no, so it's within our best interest to stick together, stick this out. And when the time's appropriate, I promise you, there's nobody better. And I'm not tooting my own horn. We have a proven history here that we buy the market bottoms and we sell the cycle tops. When everybody's spinning in a circle. Right now, everybody's spinning in a circle because they want to make some action, but you know, you can't speculate at these times. You got to buy a formation, like I said. You can't watch the price. It's about the actual formation. And today it's been up and down, left and right, side to side. Get out of the way and get run over. Or get run over. But again, it's still in that basic setup. So are we going to expect XRP to start bouncing out like we're seeing here with Algo? Is this the start for Algo? Nice inverse head and shoulders. Nice back test on the descending wedge. And I mean, from my own understanding, descending wedges are super bullish when they break out and back test the way that it's shown. Super, super bullish. Let me see who's in here. Let me turn the comments on. Hey, 71 people. I'm glad some of you stayed after I did what I did in the opening. Trying to bring that positivity and the good energy for all of you. Heck, a lot of people are probably here for the whole 3 hours earlier, and they're like, I can't possibly go back today. Mark Caston, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad's 1970 legend. Very trusted mod in here with Cannabis Podcast, both in Tom's Army for over 1 year. My fellow Buckeye, and I told you they would win the game they needed to in the Big Ten tournament. I think they're securely in the field now. Nice win for Ohio State over Wisconsin. And I thought they were going to win that game. I really did. Garrus, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Dan Marginal, Poppy Lou, and William Hayes, thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor, along with Just Send It, Mr. and Mrs. Stott, G.A. Stormrider, also in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Logical, Patriot, 3+ months. Along with, let's see, Bold FC, thank you so much. Train, good evening. Elmer J. Fudd, very trusted mod as well, and thank you so much for all your input. As always, a friend was telling me about the chart from 2013 and the Gaussian channel. Maybe look at it. Hey, I talked about that earlier in this formation. It's been months, but I do have an update where I actually talk about the Gaussian channel. I wonder if I could type it in on YouTube and find that video. I don't know. It would be interesting. Whoops. XRP Future Millionaire Gaussian channel. I remember talking about this. It's been a long time. You see 2 years. Oh wow, it's been 2 years ago. Bitcoin makes historic move, flips Gaussian channel bullish and weekly. Haven't seen since May of 2020. That's been 2 years since I talked about the Gaussian channel. Wow, unless it's not picking up anything else. That's crazy. And that actually panned out perfectly, actually. We talked about that 2 years ago. That's a very bullish flip. I've never seen anybody in the comments talk about the Gaussian channel. And well, I have, but it's been a very long time. So what's your guys' opinion about XRP? Are you frustrated? Are you hanging on? Do you understand what kind of a cycle we're in? Two Ravens, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP, or 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Zalman this first month, I appreciate that in Tom's Army. UK feeling crazy, pull over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Nick Nack, Patty Whack, Give a Dog a Bone is doing phenomenal and in here this morning. Agony Trader, welcome in, says Bitcoin rainbow chart showing we're at the bottom or very close. I know, that's the cool part of this. That's why it's very interesting what's going on. And I know Bitcoin has failed a little bit today, but if it closes at 70K, when was the last time we've closed several days over that level? And XRP, even though it looks like trash right now, it's basically been a hold today. It's been a holding pattern. Ben B, welcome in. DM44, thanks for tuning in. Says, I find it crazy with all the good news and announcements that has happened over the last year or so for certain crypto projects. The price is still where it's at. Can they suppress price legally? Yes, and they can do it even easier when they pass the Clarity Act, believe it or not. But remember, the good news, the adoption, all of that stuff has no bearing on the price whatsoever. You kind of have to separate it from the price. So all that good news, it doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with price action. That's what a lot of people are, the ecosystem getting a boost. A lot of people are confused by that, but that literally has no affliction on the price. But that's a great comment, DM. But just remember that stuff has no bearing on the price. Only the price action and the amount of liquidity, where the order books are, where the actual, FVGs and CMEs and all of that good stuff. Which is the internal liquid or the internal trading that goes. But anyhow, that's for another day. Wow, Joseph Boiler, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So bad and gifting a sub. That is so awesome to see. LBJ Films, congratulations on getting that gifted sub back in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's House Crypto News. Jacoby Schraw, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. Sola Jeffy, good evening. I think that's everybody. I think I caught up. DM says, I'm holding for over 5 years. Frustrating, but sure gives the opportunity to buy more with this market. Do you see it going lower by target? Yeah, if it does, unless we can invalidate that descending triangle, the first big buy target, if it breaks down to the technical target, would be around 86.6 cents roughly. That would be the short target. Not short, but that would be the lower target. If this breaks down now, we can invalidate this movement very easily, which has been very hard. We need to get back over this descending triangle, invalidate a right shoulder, which we have not been able to do yet. But where we're at right now, the weekly significantly oversold. The daily's getting back into a overbought, which guess what? That's not as bad as it appears. Because if the daily's up there, that means there's some demand if it can hold up there. The monthly is significantly oversold. So I actually don't mind the daily being all the way up there towards overbought because you can sit there for an extended length of time. It's more that daily candle doesn't look great. Now it is pulling up a little bit from where it was at earlier. Because if it would have closed at $1.36.5, not great. The farther we can pull back up, especially if we don't close behind yesterday's candle underneath, would be a great sign if we can stay over that $1.37. Because even though it looks bad, we still have an inverse pattern set up. For all intents and purposes, we've been back testing the neckline. So I don't like to count it dead until it's dead and we don't have that technical dead signal. It's just we're failing a little bit. Elmer J. Fudd says thinks it's going to be a long wait. It very well could. Situation normal, unimpressed with price, expected more to have happened 9, almost 10 years hold. Yep. That is understandable because that is something we talk about a lot. There are some people holding XRP from 2017, 2015, a lot in 2018 that are still well underwater, which is incredible. It's incredible to be that length of time. And you can tell the XRP, the interest, unless the price is moving positively, the interest is dying down within the community. Not because people are losing all the interest in the world. I think people are just sick of hearing the false coattails from influencers, which they help give me a bad name. Because if somebody's new, they're going to say this schlub just repeats the standard operating procedure until you come in here. Yeah, West Bloomfield at the Jewish Community Center. Believe it or not, Julie used to work. That was her job. Not in that she used to work across the street, but she used to work for that company. Now, what ended up happening is there was an active shooter, hit a security guard as he ran into the building, knocked the security guard unconscious, and then another security guard took this guy out. So their armed security actually killed the guy before he could injure any students or anybody else inside. So yeah, that situation's been taken care of. But ironically, the Jewish Community Center, Julie used to work at the JCC with the special needs kids. So in those bull runs, XRP at the bottom of the Gaussian channel, we are in the middle now. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And the one when Bitcoin hit it, it finally flipped it in 2023, early 24. And I remember when that happened, we're like, oh boy. Well, you got to be careful with sleeper cells because it's in West Bloomfield or Bloomfield Hills. And that's where in my state of Michigan, they use it as a political area. They always have. And it's very big with the Jewish people in that area. So they always use it for politically motivated events. So maybe I've talked about how the sleeper cells, that's how they're going to close this country down again. They're going to say that in order to keep you safe, we got to keep everybody inside, basic kind of thing. Stay on your property so that we can see who's out and about. That's what I fear is going to happen. And the more of these that happen, and it's just ironic that it happens in that area. But thanks for asking. I really appreciate that. I do. Jamie McKinney, welcome in, and thanks for being in town. Only 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Says hoping it hits that CME gap, then drops to low, then does it up. Does its up thing. I'm ready for it. Going to be a fun ride. That's what I hope happens personally. I want it to fill out these gap areas because if it comes up to this, great comment, Jamie. It's been so great getting to know you in here as well, Mr. McKinney. But if it comes up into that CME and FVG, it'd be a great area to come up to. Those are breakaway gaps. And what they're telling you is it's still in a bear market. But if we come up there and get a rejection, it would be a firm rejection to confirm we're still in a bearish market. However, if it came up over that, it could start to confirm that maybe we're flipping this market. So, but I would like to come up there to fill out this liquidity. I'm not convinced we're just going straight down. I don't know, Josh, if he was Iranian. But there are talks about, just the undertone around here in Michigan that it had something to do with exactly that. That it could be an extension of what's going on with the war and it could be an attack on our soil. And if they just happen to come out and tell us that, it would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? So, but thanks for being in town zone for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. I'll keep you guys updated when I hear more news in the great state of Michigan. Dan Marginal, thanks for being in Tom Zone for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Bearded Viking, welcome in, and thanks for coming back in over 3 months with the XRP Predictor. I mean, the XRP Meteor. I really appreciate it as we continue to pray for Mighty Marcus for an advanced good health as he's fighting the good fight. We pray for your wife and you for your good health, your mentality, the ability to keep pushing forward as I know you're taking extra shifts. I know I'm doing it for my house, but I consider when I do a lot of things that I'm doing extra work for the family, just like you are when you're going out and about and doing what you know best with your skills. I just happen to be a good talker and I'm good with the charts and I feel like I can help people at the same time. But I'm not opposed to getting a job outside the house if I have to. I don't really want to. And I think the classes are definitely helping having 44 of you in there, or 44 or 45 people besides me in there. So that definitely helps as well. Look at this at the end of the day, too. You know, a nice little pushback up here for XRP even. Bitcoin back into the positive. Not convinced we're just going to break down here. Not convinced at all. Jamie says, gotta stay positive, always takes too much energy to be angry. And I agree with that. I listened back to the one earlier and I wasn't mad about the live earlier. I was actually pretty happy with how it went. I was being tough. Had that mindset of forget about the charts today. Forget about the price action. You can look at the charts, but don't look at the price action. I was trying to be very clear, very dramatically in the zone, very meticulous with how I was speaking because I wanted everybody to focus on not necessarily the bad price action, but the overall pattern setup of how we broke out of a descending wedge, how we were testing a couple of times, you know, because I wanted everybody to not fear that price drop, but also understand that we do have the ability going into Friday even to still have an up moment. I'm telling you, this isn't over yet. Not by a long shot. If it ends it, we will be the first to know. So I agree with you, Jamie. Positivity goes a long, long way. Long, long way. So I did my best to come in here very positive, very upbeat, very motivated. Tell everybody it's going to be okay. I know the title might have threw people off, but it's true. It failed for the breakout at the moment. A lot of people are questioning the journey. They're very frustrated. But it technically hasn't failed the breakout like most would think. Yes, it failed it initially a couple times, but you know what? Sometimes you got to take out that over-the-top liquidity and it's not ready. So you come back down like we did to $1.36 and some change earlier. Come back down to $1.37 like we just did a couple of times because you're trying to add more buyers to pick you up and then eventually you can break out. The first target's $1.4250 roughly out of the short-term descending wedge. The mediocre target's $1.56 area, but 153 at first. And then the big target would be $1.70 to 77. And that would be a wavy expansion, in my opinion. We haven't failed that yet. It's not over until the fat lady sings, and I'm not ready to sing yet. Bearded Viking said it was a great live personally. Oh, I thought so too. Oh yeah, Josh, that was my big saying this morning. Fuck the price action and pay attention to the pattern. This is a family-friendly show, of course. World events are going to make the markets crash in time, absolutely. But sometimes in the short term, crypto, believe it or not, in bad world events, has a little bit of a parabolic spike. Not saying it's going to go up 8,000%, but it has been known for cryptocurrencies to move 30, 40, 50, 70% across the board in a time of turmoil as we start flipping through different asset classes and money has to find yield. Well, platinum, gold, and silver has gone down, but it found yield in WTI, West Texas Intermediate crude oil, in the oil sector, which we were spot on about. We just didn't make a move in it for some reason. Well, I know I didn't personally because it was still riding the commodities, but there's no excuse. I had plenty of money after I sold out to take a shot in oil. But, you know, that's a learning experience for me. USA not banking in Canada soon. Not surprised by that, honestly, as that relationship is dwindling. Matthew, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Appreciate it, everybody. That live had me laughing at work this morning. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, you know, it was pretty well received. I gained like 8 new followers during the live, which I was very surprised about. It was a great comment. The comments were freaking phenomenal. I loved it. I was actually very happy with it. I was very direct, though, for a reason. I said, forget about the price action today in the best way I could. Call of Aldebrand says, I'm changing my YouTube name to Unfilled Order. Laugh out loud. I love it. But you see how fast XRP changed at the end of the night? With the built-up aggression? It likes to do this in the market. We're showing some positive. Did something happen? Or is it just that I came on and I had my hat on earlier that it had to come up? I don't know. But do you agree or do you understand why I kept saying don't worry about the price action, only worry about the formation today? Price action will get you in trouble today. Because we want to make sure if it breaks down, it's not just going to be because we get nervous about a little price drop or back and forth. It's true. It's the first time I've talked like that about forget about the price action and look at the pattern in a long time. It was the Sunshine song. You know, it very well might have been. Positivity holds no bounds, right? We came in positivity. We sang about the sun or sunny days. Interesting. Interesting. And like even now we have 72 people here. I mean, it seems pretty awesome to me. I caught this long from the pineapple bottom. Yeah, I'm in a long too in a couple different things. Um, you know about XRP, everybody. I've talked about it. V chain, H bar, algo, XDC not at the moment because I thought the other ones were gonna push up. And I was in XDC before and I've been doing some crazy flipping back and forth. But I'm pretty happy with the decision so far. Algo's up 3.25%. XRP's up, but not much. It still hasn't done anything, but it's at least holding serve. XLM's up 1%. VChain's up 1.25%, or 1.33%, I mean. HBAR is now at 0.75% approximately. Does everyone have at least a week of water available at the pot? Absolutely. Water. I've got some dried foods as well, like fruits, vegetables, some meals that are, dried meals and things like that. So I've got some buckets full that can last me probably a couple of months. Got a ton of food for my son with his G tube, so we don't have to worry about that. He's going to be eating like a king for a year if this goes on. Um, but yeah, definitely, Elmer, and I think people need to pay attention to what you're saying. I really do. If you think the blah 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 was bad, if they shut us down this time, oh boy. And I'm not saying there's anything in the near future. No one's saying we're shutting down. I'm just saying we could shut down because they could use what's going on in the world crisis. And look what happened in Michigan. So. And then also there's these tabs you can buy and you eat them and they've got enough calories. You eat a couple of them a day. I can't remember what they're called, but I have a bunch of those as well. I can show you guys what those are. I have them in my room, ironically. Let's see. I got a few of them, but there's these survival tabs. And the reason why these are important is because it's got all of your vitamins, minerals, everything you need to survive. Eat a couple of these a day, and in a worst case scenario, at least you can get all your vitamins, minerals, and all that good stuff. Serving size is 12 tabs. Holy hell. So you gotta eat 10 of them per serving. 240 calories per serving. But it's got a whole bunch of stuff. There's protein, but it has iodine in it, and zinc, and vitamin E, and peroxide, HCl, and folic acid, vitamin B12, vitamin A, all the good stuff. It goes all the way back down. But yeah, it's got all your essential stuff. So these everybody should have. I got a few boxes, a few of these. And it's not bad. It's not bad actually. Oh yeah. This is in my small safe. I have survival stuff in my small safe, but I don't have it in the public. Never know when you're gonna need that stuff, right? You never know. But yeah, I don't keep anything to chance, so I like to keep my stuff hidden best I can. Purification of water using copper and zinc, lots of things. Absolutely, that's not a bad idea. I think if we're all called to have to do something, we're gonna need to the code is 1234. Yes, absolutely. But right now this has been a great close. I mean, guys, this has been a phenomenal close right now. This is what we were looking for. Some kind of positivity going. Look at that. That's a nice reversal. You could say this is an inverted hammer candle, not much wick through. The fact that pulled up, you had a couple inverted hammers in a row in the daily, and with this pulling back up, this could be confirmation that we could have a rally in the next candle. 4 hourly has that pushed right back up like we wanted to see. Now let's see if we can hold it over the next 50 minutes. DJRC, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. John Allen, welcome in, my friend. Good to see you in here as always. I'm very blessed to have all of you in here. 68 of you still in here, 68 likes. And the core members, I mean, you guys are amazing. The new members that it's your first time, you're also amazing. Did Ghost get the Blue Jays? Not hearing them today. Well, I'm in my room, so I'm not where I'm normally at. This is the first time I've ever done it. I actually rolled my desk into here and I'm sitting in my chair. This is just in my bedroom because T's out in the living room. And I still wanted to do a live. I couldn't help it. I know I did 3 hours earlier, but I really wanted to come out and do an hour and be strong, be positive, lead everybody in the right direction. Nina says, you are amazing. Oh, thank you. Says you are amazing, sir. I really appreciate that, Nina. Or Nina D. Milojevic. Nenad Milojevic. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it. I do what I can. I do what I can. Thank you, Nina. What a lovely comment. I'm telling you, we have a phenomenal audience. I don't just come here by chance. I come here because of all of you. I used to do this for historical data, and then I built an audience that holds no bounds. I love it. So the last one, Nenad Milojevic. Nenad Milojevic, something like that. Yes, excellent, Nenad. I'll just say Nenad from now on. Could have been talking to me, Tom. Haha. Elmer, it's possible. It's possible they were talking to you about being amazing because you are. Yeah, I used to go under DE. Don't think you'd remember. Under D. If it's the D I'm thinking of, but the names keep changing. I know. I'm pretty sure if it's the right D, I know who it is. It just keeps changing the names on me. But I remember D. That's you? You were talking about like D from 2022 or 3? That D? Like years long supporter of mine? Like long time supporter. I can't think of many D's that have come through here. Yep, that's you. Yeah, that's absolutely you. I see you say it. I've been a viewer for a while, a couple of years. Yep, I know exactly who you are. You were in here in the bear market of 23. I remember you being very talkative too. So that's your name now, and now I feel kind of bad because I've seen you comment before. I didn't correlate your name with the other one, although I should have. See, I do remember. I have a good memory. It's just when they change the names on me so much, sometimes I get confused. But I do my best. Elmer J. Fudd says, joking. Yeah, but you are a good person. We all have our emotional turmoils where we get caught up in a confrontation every now and then or whatever. But you're a positive person, and I appreciate it. You give a lot of survival information, which is very, very important. Our personalities, not everybody's going to like us. And we're not going to like everybody else, but what we have to do is try to mesh together, and I think we do a good job. And I really like your approach the last few days too, Elmer. You've been very helpful. Very helpful. I know we even butted heads in the beginning, but we ended up realizing we're on the same team and we have the same outcome in mind. So it actually helps. You want somebody to test you in a way that you didn't think possible because it helps you actually um I don't know, it makes you the best version of yourself, and I think you helped me be the best version of myself by giving me something to think about. Oh, you're welcome, Elmer, and thank you. Bad guy, welcome in, and thanks for being in Town's Arm for over 6 months with the XP Predictor, 3 hours earlier. Yes, I did a 3 hour live earlier. It only gave me credit for 2 hours and 59 minutes and some odd seconds. But yeah, this morning I did 3 hours. And see, it still hasn't processed, so it's still not pushing it out to the members. That's what I'm talking about. With it takes forever. But yeah, we did 3 hours earlier and it was fantastic. Fantastic. It's got over 900 views, which is nice. That video will get well over 1,000. But yeah, it was a phenomenal live. I had to stay. I kept saying I had to stay this morning because we're in a volatile moment. I didn't want anybody to panic when it dropped. And I said, all right, let's watch this from 10:30, 10 o'clock, or 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 to 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time when the market drops. And then we talked about 11 to 11:30 a.m. how it was just going to recover, a miraculous recovery, and that's exactly what happened. Cat, welcome in, love, all one of my favorite members of all times. Not that all of you aren't my favorite members from a technical perspective. Probably the most undervalued member of this entire community that probably doesn't get the proper credit she deserves. But Kat is spot on with her charting. She sends me from time to time in my email her perspective, and I love it. Good evening, and thanks for being in Towns Arm for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge, Kat. Well over 1 year. I've been around for several. Good evening, Tom. Are you going to announce to us when you are an XRP millionaire? I feel it will be this year. Oh, I would announce it when I become an asset millionaire. XRP's helped me on my journey, but I still have a ways to go. The taxes this year kind of set me back a little bit, so to say. But the taxes are just that. We got to be willing to pay the high tax amount if we're going to make profit. And I'm okay with that. Because I still had enough to fix up my house, which was $85,000 to fix up my house, as you guys know, last year. Had to get new windows, had to get new floor, had to redo my kitchen, had to get the walls done, and a whole bunch of stuff. Had to do my whole HVAC system the year before. I've replaced all my appliances from the fridge to the stove to the dryer to the washer to everything in between. So yeah, it's helped me achieve a lot. I've been able to buy a lot of precious metals because of it, which I consider that as being part of an XRP Future Millionaire because it's allowed to give me assets. But I still have a good amount of XRP right now, but I've been swinging it lately. So if the moment dies, I can swing it and then buy it cheaper. It's not like it was the bear to the bull market, so I'm not worried about that. That did what we needed to. We wanted to make 3,500 into 35,000, which we achieved. But now it's our job to balance it properly, take our profit, and then rebuy when we have to. Sola Jeffy says, Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect harmony. Yeah. Love it. I thank you for sticking around earlier. Some of us needed it. You're welcome, William. And the vibe was so great in the comments that it was a very easy decision for me. I know we were here for several hours, but it just made perfect sense to me. And for the ones coming and going, I appreciate you stopping in for a minute. The core members, I appreciate you allowing me to have somebody to talk to during this whole thing. I do. I would recommend people to stay because they're going to get a lot of insight, not just on the chart, but just of the community and just the reasons why we're so confident in knowing we're going to be very successful as we go forward. And the vibe has been phenomenal today. The last couple of days, the comments have been truly inspiring. Let's see. XRP Billionaire, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. If XRP is sold to the big banks from the dark pools, how will we see appreciation? That is the biggest issue I have with XRP. Do we know if it is at par with retail? Okay, so here's the deal. Yes, it's being sold to the banks and the institutions because it's going to be a form of world liquidity through the banking sector, the central banks in particular. But how we gain profitability is not sitting through the dry spells and buying it at cycle bottoms and buying it at moments of possibility because we think it can go to 86. But that cup and handle has been formed with that descending wedge. So if it were to go volatile to the top side and somehow get over $2, it could flip the whole narrative of going under $1. So it's our job now that it was down, especially I talked about it at $1.18 would have been the perfect time. I know it went to $1.11, but we're just trying to get 20% of the bottom on these swing moves as well. And well, I would like to be within 10% if it's going to be a swing move, which we were still within that, but you get the picture, and a volatile swing down. So I advised the audience at $1.18 was a good spot to buy to ride this imbalance back up. And then you don't want to sell it unless you're swinging it in and out, you don't want to sell it and not have it until it proves another breakdown, which if we fall below $1.23, that would be a good indicator that we're going down to that 86 cents. However, we still got an imbalance to the top side. We've got those gap areas. We've got the CME and FVG, but I drew out these gap areas. And so far, we rejected liquidity sweep, which is a bearish confirmation if zone rejects. And because it did, first time it forced us to come down after a rejection. It forced us to come down from the rejection point 7%. And then the next time we hit it and we held and came back up. But then again, from where it fell out, it forced us to fall another about 4% from the breakdown point. And what it's done is it's built an inverse head and shoulders here. So the next time through should be the time that gets you through. This is a nice liquidity box that formed, but it's actually higher up. That's improper. It's actually from here all the way back up. We've never retested that area. So in all intents and purposes, you could say there's a huge liquidity box. Actually, it's higher than this. Right here. There's a huge liquidity box that formed where we've never retested that breakdown. So if we don't break down, it makes very clear sense to me that we would come back up towards that $1.70. And that's just some of the imbalances, that's some of the areas that we leave open that can harbor liquidity. Crypto Cooter, thanks for being in Tom's Hour for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad and a very trusted mod. Says 3 more hours a night. Tom's already in his bedroom anyways. I wish, but I got all the kids here. Michaela's home from school as well until Sunday, which is awesome. So she'll be here for a few days. She's on her spring break. Scarlett's here and T's here. Elmer, absolutely. That's an area that I don't know if it's going to come all the way to 201, but it definitely needs, you would think, if it can get back above $1.55, it's in the deck of cards in real time even, as we continue to move it over in real time to match with where we're at on today. If it's in March 19th, that would be $1.87. If it's in real event like today, you could say it's all the way up near $1.93, which is probably where we need to ride it more towards like this weekend. So that, I mean, you're talking about over the top. There's a lot of room there. How do you recognize an imbalance? That's an excellent question. The way that I perceive it. So if we come, let's say we do this. I'll try to do it the best I can. Some call it displacement. I call it an imbalance. Some call it a liquidity zone. It's still an imbalance to me. So let's go to a different chart that's not so crowded. So like to me, that's an imbalance zone. So why I say that is we broke up, came down so quickly, chopped around, came back up, but we never retested this area. So there's a lot of liquidity trapped. So I call it an imbalance to the upside. You got a lot of liquidity trapped there. Eventually, we should sweep that area regardless. And even higher up, you can still see it up to that $1.95. Like you could, in fact, say that there's a huge imbalance all the way through there. Or if you want to look at it from a standpoint of not a short term, and you want to look at it, because technically you could say, okay, we retested this area, right? When we came back up here. So basically the real imbalance, see how we came through here, came down and came up? Technically you could say the real imbalance is taking place from this area because we never came back up into that drop box. And you want to retest that area. So it's created an imbalance of liquidity up over the top. So if you want to talk about the real imbalance, it's up there. So the way that I recognize it is an area that's untapped after a fall down or breakout. It leaves that area untested. And it's actually smaller than this. It's like this, if you want to be official. Because this came down, broke back up, came down. So technically, I'm looking at it as it never retested any higher. And between that $1.80 and $1.67, we've never retested that breakdown at all. So that's an imbalance to me. Some will call it a liquidity zone, a gap area, which it is. But this is me calling it an imbalance. See, my terminology sometimes compared to what others feel or see is not the same. But this is what works for me. You know, this is what works for me. So I always try to, I never used to show the audience as much until recently about these areas. But as you can see, we put that bearish sweep area when it first came down. And look how many times it's come up there and a rejection has forced it back down. This was our liquidity box. Remember the imbalance it created after pushing up? Notice how it stayed in that imbalance zone right now, consolidating until it figures out if it has enough fortitude to break out. So it's just something that I see in a disparity between the bulls and the bears. I hope that makes sense, Jamie. The class actually talks about it in this section a little bit in the phase we're in right now. Not an extreme ton, but we have started talking about it a little bit from a definition standpoint. So, how long have we been on? 57 minutes. I know Julie's going to need me in a little bit because showers are going to be starting and I want to make sure I'm present. So we'll do a couple more minutes and then we'll call it a day. I think this has been a tremendous live. If you appreciate my work, make sure to hit that like button, which 79 have, and there's only 76 people in here, so we're doing good. Trading with J-Ride, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. How amazing is that? 5-year badge is coming up. I think the first or second week of April, it's going to let it be released to all of you. It's already set up, but we have to get the 5 years. And I made partner 2 weeks after I started on March 24th, so by April 14th or so, I was already partner, which is crazy. And then 2 weeks after that, I got my paid subscribers. So there's some people that have been around ever since like late April, which is truly remarkable. In Tom's Army, trading with J-Ride. Coin's a phenomenal close here at 70,505 if it ends up in this area. Perfect. We just want to get past this liquidity zone, which it's traded within for some time now, and it's about a 10% or a 13% area. But now we need to invalidate first this right shoulder, which would be coming over 71,700 and pushing through 72,850 roughly, and ultimately making a new high up here at 74,700, invalidating this whole structure and working our way up. This is a huge liquidity box here. That's a liquidity zone. It stretches, and we can go into the Bitcoin heat liquidity map real quick. But there's a huge liquidity zone over the top. I mean, massive. And it's great. And that's why I charted it like that, because I took the information from the heat liquidity map and tried to light it up. Cape Cod Kyle from Massachusetts and Florida as well now. Welcome in, Cape Cod Kyle. But we do have a little bit of liquidity across the bottom in the shorter time frames. But in the monthly for Bitcoin, I believe it's in the monthly it shows it good. Maybe not in the monthly because it doesn't show it high enough. Maybe I have to go to the 3-month, which hopefully it doesn't freeze on us. I know one of them has it lit up there in the 80 to 82. Again, this one doesn't go up high enough. What? Oh, it went to the monthly again. Well, that makes sense. Awesome to have you in here, Cape Cod Kyle. So we have 142 million, 130 million. I know there's more up here, but we can't get up there until we get past here. I thought it was a little bit bigger than that. Maybe it was in the 6-month. Could have swore there was a lot. It was lit up a little bit more. But nonetheless, the 3-month shows a nice liquidity pocket at 80 and 82, and also at 92 to 95. I don't know if it's going to load the 6-month. Nope. It always crashes, which is a... Maybe it'll do it after the crash. Come on! One time so we can see it. Here every day, man, just quiet. Oh, I see you lurking in the analytics when I read through them. If you're here enough, you'll pop up and... Oh, baby! Look at that! 117, we got 352 million. That's something. I love that. 80K is when you start to get that pocketed area. Right when you get to 79 and 80 and 81, 82. About 79 to 81. is the best area. Then you get even more when you get to 91. You get even more when you get to 98. And you get the most when you get to 117. Now, that is a good sign. But if we go too low, those will be closed by virtue because people will take profit eventually. But that's a huge liquidity box there. First, I should actually make this, which it makes sense. I should have done it from here around 78. That's also where the imbalance is at too, ironically. The imbalance here with this liquidity pocket, it's a small one, but it actually looks like that, which is ironic because this is exactly where that liquidity pocket starts. We could do it a little bit lower just so we know, but we need to come through that area. And then at the top, it's about 81,460. But man, do we have a huge, huge liquidity zone in two different spots that we can put this. We have a massive one around here, which again, it makes sense. Look at the imbalance zone. All the way from here to all the way up there, you got a big imbalance and there's a pocket of liquidity. You go up higher and you got a huge imbalance from here to here, which there's a big pocket up here the higher you get, and there's imbalances all over the place. It's all over the place because we never retested those areas at all. The drop from 111 down, the best we did was retest up to 106.5. From 116, the best we did was retested 111 almost. And from up here, we've never retested in the biggest liquidity pocket that we have on the map, which makes perfect sense. Bitcoin has never retested that 116 all the way back up to the 125. There's a huge liquidity pocket that shows up in the 6 monthly way up here. It's the biggest pocket we have. So whether or not we can get up there, so I'll keep those on there as liquidity pockets. Where's the $1.80 mark? What do you mean? Oh, you mean as far as liquidity, like as far as the heat liquidation map, how it looks? We can take a look for XRP. For you, anything, my friend. We will take a look. Low 3 Devon, welcome in. Oh, where's the $1.80? Oh, yeah, it's far, far away. But look how this pocket's lighting up, folks. We got pockets all around us, even in the daily, looking great above us. Nice bull flag looks like it's set up here at the end of the day in the daily for XRP. If we look at the weekly, I guess I shouldn't have told everybody I was leaving because now there's only 56 people. And this is like the most important information of the live. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare people away. Underneath, we got a big pocket forming here at $1.30. Something to pay attention to in the 2 weekly. And then in the monthly, for XRP, we got a pocket below. We tapped into it a little bit. But there's definitely some short traders that can be taken out. I mean, long traders that can be taken out down there. But yeah, I'm going to call this a live. I want to go help Julie. I hear that Scarlett's in the shower. I want to make sure T's good since Julie's doing a lot of work right now. Be blessed, everybody. Thank you so much for this live. It was much needed. I know we did 3 hours earlier, but to be able to do another hour in 5 minutes right now was absolutely awesome. The core members, you are beyond belief awesome. And to all the members in Tom's Army, thank you so much for believing in me. All the members who aren't in Tom's Army that show up every day, thank you for being a part of this and showing that utmost faith in what I do. And I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. God bless all of you. Thank you all so much for everything. And to the core members,